Anthropic just launched its most capable model ever. 3 days later, the US government shut it down. Here's everything that happened in between. June 9th, 2026, Anthropic releases two models at once, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Both belong to a new Mythos-class tier above the previous flagship Opus series. Fable 5 is the public version, wrapped in heavy safety restrictions. Mythos 5 is, word for word, the same model with key restrictions removed, restricted to a small group of vetted partners. Anthropic says Fable 5 is state-of-the-art on nearly every benchmark tested, and the gap over competitors grows larger the longer and harder the task gets. On agentic coding, SWE Bench Pro, Fable scored 80.3% versus Opus 4.8's 69.2% and GPT 5.5's 58.6%. On Cognition's Frontier Code, testing production quality code, Fable hit 29.3%, more than double Opus 4.8. Biggest gaps: cybersecurity, exploit bench, Fable scored 78% versus Opus 4.8's 40%. Biology, biomystery bench hard tier, Fable hit 46% versus Opus 4.8's 40%, and the older Mythos previews 29.6%. On humanities last exam, one of the hardest general reasoning benchmarks out there, Fable scored 64.5% with tools versus Opus 4.8's 57.9%. Worth noting, it's not a clean sweep everywhere. On the OS World Computer Use benchmark, the older Mythos preview actually edged out Fable slightly, 85.4% to 85.0%. Real-world claims: Stripe reportedly used Fable 5 to migrate a 50 million-line Ruby codebase in a single day, a job that would have taken a team 2 months by hand. And Fable beat Pokemon Fire Red using nothing but raw screenshots, no maps, no extra tools, something earlier Claude models couldn't do without a complex helper harness. This is the wild part. Using Mythos 5, Anthropic's own scientists say they accelerated drug design workflows by roughly 10 times, with the model independently choosing binding sites, running design tools, and recovering from failures. No human help. Anthropic also claims Mythos 5 is its first model to consistently generate genuinely novel scientific hypotheses. Their own scientists preferred its biology hypotheses over Opus-class output 80% of the time, and one hypothesis about an E. coli protein was independently confirmed by an outside lab working the same problem. Fable and Mythos are literally the same model. The only difference is the safety layer. Fable 5 runs new classifiers that detect risky requests in 3 categories: cybersecurity, biology, and chemistry, and attempts to distill the model's capabilities into a rival AI. Flagged requests get silently rerouted to the weaker Opus 4.8 instead. Anthropic says over 95% of sessions never trigger this at all. On jailbreak resistance, Anthropic ran a 400-turn automated red team test on offensive cyber tasks, restarting the attack every time it got blocked. Older models like Opus 4.8 had a 56.6% attack success rate under this test. Fable 5 dropped that down to 5.4%. An external partner separately tested 30 different public jailbreak techniques against harmful cyber attack planning requests and got 0 successful bypasses, reportedly the strongest result that partner had ever measured. Mythos 5 itself stays restricted to Project Glasswing, a US government cybersecurity partnership that started back in April with an earlier preview model. Anthropic says it plans to expand access gradually, plus open a separate trusted access track for biology researchers later on. Both models priced at $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens, less than half of the older Mythos preview. Free on subscription plans through June 22nd, then usage credits required. 3 days after launch, June 12th. Anthropic suspends access to both models entirely, and based on linked statements, this wasn't Anthropic's choice. It followed a US government export control directive ordering the suspension. Let that sink in. A model built in direct partnership with the US government gets shut down by that same government using export control law. Most capable Claude model ever, split into a guarded public version and a stronger restricted one, backed by genuinely detailed safety testing, suspended by the federal government within a week. This is frontier AI now getting treated like an export-controlled technology, not just a product launch. Link to the full statement is in the description. Subscribe for updates as this develops.